religious nature. Now, because the National Investigation Agency categorized Gurpatwant Singh Pannun as a Sikh for Justice, member and the chief organizer of the organization, the word Sikh, it seems, has been interpreted as something religious. Now, what we are told is that legal officers have suggested that he be categorized as an individual criminal and this request be sent afresh to Interpol. The Indian government definitely is hoping that this time around there will be more positive response from Interpol, because this is coming at a time when India is preparing to host the next General Assembly of the Interpol. That will be on the 18th when the Prime Minister will inaugurate. In that backdrop also, India is definitely hoping that at the multilateral level and bilateral level, there would be greater coordination between the Indian agencies and the Interpol.
Now, Arunima, just to put this in perspective for our viewers of who really this man is and why the Indian government actually wants action against him or a red corner notice against him, that's perhaps the first step of bringing him to justice as far as his organization's involvement in crimes and violence committed on Indian soil are concerned. And which is why we're given to understand that New Delhi is going to be pursuing this now from another angle, not about the organization per se, but about the individual, which is Gurpatwant Singh Pannun. Focus on him and talk about his individual actions.
Absolutely, and not just the NIA, which has already charged him under various sections of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, named in an FIR, which say that there is a conspiracy, a secessionist conspiracy to create Khalistan, which basically means you want to take away a part of India and create a separate country. So NIA has named him for that secessionist conspiracy. There's also an FIR filed by the Himachal Pradesh police against him. There is a huge possibility that when India goes in for an appeal, the Himachal police charge sheet, as and when it is filed, is also flagged off to the Interpol. Essentially, India's case is that Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, even though he has pleaded that all the charges against him are false, India says he is instrumental on fomenting anti-India sentiments on social media. He's based outside the country, but he travels extensively to create these anti-India sentiments, that there is a ISI angle here. He receives support from ISI, and therefore the red corner notice to restrict his movement across the world, to restrict him reaching out to other people with his anti-India agenda. And that is the plea with which India wants this red corner notice to be issued, so that his movement is restricted and he can be brought to India to face consequences of violating Indian laws, including stringent laws like the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act.
Absolutely. So this is just the first step in that direction. Even though a second request has been turned down, there will be more. New Delhi will keep pursuing this. For the moment, Arunima, thank you so much for getting us the very latest and that exclusive inside information of what India's strategy is going to be to ensure that a separatist leader like Gurpatwant Singh Pannun is brought to justice. Gaurav Goyal, advocate and analyst, will be joining us shortly on this broadcast. Ramneek Maan, a political analyst, also joins us now. And Mr. Maan, I'd like to begin with you. As far as the role of Pannun is concerned, there are several cases against him, at least 22 cases just in the state of Punjab. Terror and sedition, two very, very important allegations, two very, very charges that he faces. He must be brought to book and he must be made to face the law here in India.
Well, yes, that is correct. As a matter of fact, he has been the instigator-in-chief, or who has been instigating the Sikh youth abroad, not only in the Europe or the North America, but also in Australia. He has been instrumental in instigating Sikh youths to write Khalistani, pro-Khalistani slogans, or to wave the Khalistani flags in various parts of Punjab, as well as Himachal Pradesh. So Pannu basically is somebody who's anti-India to the core. His acts have actually brought several boys or young Sikhs into trouble. He has he's been declaring cash rewards for people who would bring about anti-India thoughts or bring about anti-India processions across the world. His organization has been instrumental in conducting a fake referendum in Canada recently. So yes, the fact still remains that the West has always covered anti-India forces. There has been a policy mindset in the West to keep India in a jelly state, and to keep instigating or to keep giving asylum to people who have an anti-India mindset or who have an anti-India agenda, specifically who have the open support of the Pakistani ISI. So Pannu is one of those people who are not just anti-India, who are not just getting colonization from West, but get paid by Pakistani ISI.
Absolutely. And like you say, he's conveniently sitting on foreign soil, unleashing terror here in India. He's radicalizing youth. He's recruiting them. He's getting in money. He's, in fact, funding all of this violence that we saw. And most recently, the kind of violence that we saw or in the national capital last year at the Red Fort as well. Masquerading themselves as some kind of activists, all they're really doing is unleashing terror, unleashing violence on the streets of the national capital, much less any other place in the country.
Not just that, as a matter of fact, these people, or they have a footprint in killing of several Sikhs who have spoken pro-India, not only in India, but also in Canada. The recent example is the murder of Gurpatwant Singh Pannun in Canada. So the footprint, if investigated thoroughly, would reach to Gurpatwant Singh Pannun and the SFJ very clearly. So yes, you are right, Poonam, when you say that Gurpatwant Singh Pannun and his organization has been instigating violence in India. So yes, that's again true, and that makes the case for his red corner notice and his custodial interrogation in India, his arrest. That is not where it limits to in India. As a matter of fact, they have been radicalizing the Indian youth, and they have been using Indian youth by filing false cases of asylum, essentially barring such youth from coming back to India. When they have no way to return to India, they fall prey to their agenda, and they have to play to their tunes and to their hands. And this is how Pannu has been using Gurdwara Sahibs in Canada and North America, in USA and various parts of the world, to instigate Sikh youths against the Indian state. So yes, there's a very strong case against Gurpatwant Pannu. I don't know why Interpol rejects these requests. It's something like China every time using its veto power when certain Pakistani nationals are to be named as designated terrorists. So I again feel that the West really needs to relook at its policy of keeping such snakes in their backyards, because they're going to turn back and bite them.
Absolutely. So it's for those countries to also really come out and now help India's efforts as far as ensuring that we bring this man to justice, we bring this man to book as far as his crimes here in the country are concerned. But there is a minor setback, Ramneek Maan, like we said, a second time around. The Interpol has rejected India's request for a red corner notice. Do you think the agencies here in India also need to do more? Because clearly the Interpol says there isn't enough information or isn't enough evidence to suggest that there should be a red corner notice that should be issued against him.
No, I'll tell you how it is. See, India and Canada had in recent past signed an agreement where the pattern on which the Canadian authorities expected India to provide them information which is actionable according to their provisions was actually conducted. And if you would look back in the Toronto drug haul, which was captured by the Toronto police, there was a lot of information which was shared by the Indian agencies as well. So I don't think that the agencies aren't doing enough. That yes, they need to step up their effort. They probably need to do even more. But I would again reiterate my stand that I started with, that the West has a habit of nurturing and protecting anti-India elements in their country. As a matter of fact, the West is a safe haven for people who are secessionists, for people who are anti-India, not just today, but historically so. They may reject a request once or twice, but eventually they'll have to give in, and they have to issue a red corner notice. And I can assure you, in my wisdom, as far as I have been following such cases, Pannu will eventually have to face trial or face extradition someday. If not today, maybe a few years down the line, when he'll be a spent force, when the Pakistani ISI will dump him, or when the West will dump him, he'll eventually land in the legal system of India. But I'm afraid, as of now, he has the complete patronage, support, and influence of the Western agencies as well as the Pakistani agency ISI.
Right, and that's the most unfortunate bit. Gaurav Goyal also is with me on this broadcast, and I'd like to put this in perspective as far as the legal route is concerned as well, because, it's the second time around that Interpol has rejected our request. this, of course, is the first step in ensuring India can actually lay hands on this man. One step, yes, we're very far away as far as extradition and bringing him to come to trial here is concerned. But for that to happen, we do need to restrict his movement, which is why getting issuance of a red corner notice by the Interpol is very, very important, isn't it?
I think now the agencies, because will certainly have to look into the matter, and this is a serious issue that Interpol has rejected it. I think agencies will look forward to it and will again move an application so that this separatist leader, and a lot of FIRs have already been registered. I've just heard that in Punjab also 2 FIRs have been registered. So he has to bring back to India at any cost, because even I, as a lawyer and as a citizen of India, every person I'm from Chandigarh, so we are receiving the calls also. So I think that the agencies will look into this very seriously. And again, whatever action has to be taken, they will surely take for. And I'm also studying
and New Delhi is definitely going to pursue this, like we've been bringing to our viewers as well, that now the new strategy that India is going to adopt is to not so much concentrate on the organization or seeks for justice as a group, but on the man himself, Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, and how he is a designated terrorist in India as far as the UAPA law is concerned, and as far as the constitution is concerned. Now, Gaurav Goyal, the Interpol has been saying that the fact that the word Sikh is in reference to this entire case, the fact that his organization is called Sikhs for Justice, that somehow comes in the purview of their constitution. It is protected under one of their articles of the constitution, which is why they're hesitating in taking action. How do you think India can actually come around that?
I think that we need to convince the Interpol that this is a person against whom a serious allegations are there. And not just one allegation, case after case, number of FIRs are there. And we are receiving his telephone calls. He record his message and make a bulk calls to the citizens. The Interpol, certainly our agencies will talk to the Interpol. They will bring more proof on record, more evidence on record, and they will connect the dots. Even in this case, I don't think so. There is not even any dot to connect, because it's a crystal clear matter that this person wants to wage a war against our nation. So our agencies will try its level best. They will connect the dots, prove every sort of evidence which we have to the Interpol, resubmit it, and surely the Indian agencies will bring back to India. Well, at any cost, he should bring back to India at any cost.
Absolutely. He must be brought to India, he must be extradited, and he must be made to pay for the blood that he spilled here on Indian soil over the last few years, and for the kind of comments that he's made, for the kind of lives he's ruined. I thank you both gentlemen for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective. This is, of course, a big story that we will be tracking here on CNN News 18. Before now, shifting focus to more news coming in. The Chinese investment fraud of 903 crore rupees has now been busted. This comes to the fore from Hyderabad, where the crime branch of the Hyderabad police has arrested 10 people accused of running a Hawala scam from Delhi and from Mumbai. A Chinese national is believed to be at the center of this entire scandal, and he has now been arrested by the police there. The cybercrime unit of the Hyderabad police is leading the charge as far as this investigation goes. Enforcement Directorate is also being roped in. Several agencies are working in tandem as far as busting this entire racket is concerned. It's believed that the scam is worth 900 crore rupees. Mainly run out of the 2 metro cities, the national capital, Delhi, and of course the financial capital of Mumbai. But the arrests have now come to the fore from Hyderabad. Swastika, my colleague, now joins me for more on this. Swastika, it's a big win for forces who are trying to crack down on these kind of fraud. It's a multi-agency operation, is what we're given to understand.
That's right, and in fact this is a fairly complicated case because it has got connection with the loan app scam and also the job application scam that we saw a couple of months ago. So to give you a brief sense of what exactly this case is, today the Hyderabad police has cracked down on 10 people. They've arrested 10 nationals, 10 people in fact, of which one of them is a Chinese and the other one is a Taiwanese resident. Now, what were these guys doing? Basically, the entire scam is called the Chinese investment fraud case, and in fact, I'm going to read off the details from what the Hyderabad police has said. Basically, what they would do is all the illegal money that has been procured through different apps, that would be converted into dollars and then siphoned abroad. When I say siphoned abroad, it's particularly sent to Dubai, it's sent to Cambodia, it's sent to Singapore and all the other countries where it is fairly easy to siphon out these monies. Now, at the realm of this entire case is a Chinese national who goes by the name Li Zhongjun, and Chu Chun Yang, he's a Taiwanese national. These guys, under the instructions of their Chinese bosses who are seated, who were possibly in Shanghai, would take instruction. They would ask some Indian nationals to come up with RBI recognized foreign exchange companies. There have been two companies that have been identified. One is Ranjan and the other one is of course KDS, situated in Delhi. The other aspect of the story is of course other Indians who are involved in this case: Nadeem Beg, Sanjay Yadav, Navneet Kaushik, Mohammad Parvez. Among the 10 arrested people, they were asked to float fake KYC IDs, come up with fake bank accounts, and then use this money to reach out to common persons. Suppose I am the person who is in need of money. I am sent a WhatsApp link. As soon as I download the app, I invest an amount, let's say a small amount to the tune of 3,000 rupees, to which I get good gains. After gaining the confidence of a user like me, they start forcing us to invest more amount. So when I start investing more amount, that is when this amount is siphoned off to different accounts, which is used to fund the loan app scam. Then you have the job fake investment scam, and overall this is a big nexus through which money to the tune of 900 crores have been traced, and this is the amount that has now been transferred abroad. Now,
and that's the most shocking bit, the staggering amount of 900 crore rupees. That's really the most important bit as far as this particular case and this particular crackdown is concerned, which is why it is extremely significant. Now, with the arrest of these men, is that going to lead to further arrests? Is that going to lead to a further unraveling of this web in India? That, of course, remains to be seen. But for now, we're slipping into a quick break here on this edition. Lots lined up for you on CNN News 18. Don't go anywhere.